Hethskie, how are you?
Wait 2 seconds. It's asking me to do something. Oh,
To
okay.
do what? What's it asking you to do?
Got it. It's saying like this person is. What do you want to exit this now or leave
Do you want to exit now?
it?
Okay, Hethskie.
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. I've got my as I showed you just now, I've got my necklace on
I've
that
got my
Tivoli Tribe
necklace
gave
as
me.
well. The
And
Holy
yeah,
Tribe.
first of all, before we get into all that, yeah, of course, it's a year since we went to the Philippines together. Um, but before
It's
we get into
been
that, I want to ask you, how's life at the moment as an air hostess? What's that been like?
well, like they said, it's a bumpy ride up there. To be fair, just like every other work, it has ups and downs, and I don't hate it. I actually learning a lot from it. I I like learning stuff. Experience
You don't hate it. That's a good thing.
experiencing. Yeah, of course. I don't hate it. I actually like it. It's a new beginning for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like that. To be fair, what was it
Yeah.
that made you want to do that?
Well, I always wanted to travel because when I was in Philippines, life is very difficult and very different. So I always wanted to travel every destination there is, and if I can do it for a job, it's like killing two birds with one stone in it. In it.
Yeah, yeah. No, mate, honestly, same for me. You know, like I'm a like a hit instructor, so I get to train in work, and I train anyway. So it's the same thing. Two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say are like some of the downsides of working as an air hostess then?
Well, I don't know if it's a downside because for me, whatever happens in work stays in work. I don't really take it home with me. So I would say people. People are very demanding. People have different needs, and you have to meet up with those needs. And because I'm working with a low cost airline, they're asking like Emirates sometimes for a treatment. So that's a bit of a downside of things. But other than that, everything's good. I wouldn't say really it's a downside. It's part of the
So,
job.
what are some of the like crazier interactions you've had with customers, and or how could you even tell me any of them?
Well,
Oh, here we go.
one of the like crazy ones is like when you have medical on board because you have to be everything while you're on board while you're in the air. Like so one time we had a person who I don't even know. She just collapsed and started shaking and getting cold. So we have to divert. We have to, we have to know what you're doing according to the manual, but you're not a medical qualified person.
You're first aid
It's a
trained, right?
scary experience. Very scary experience.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because people look at that sort of job and they think, oh wow, that's amazing. It must be so fun just traveling to different countries. But like there is a lot of stress on you guys because like you're saying there, like there's a lot of people counting on you to look after them while you're so far above any hospitals, any anything that people actually
Exactly.
need. You know, you got to be everything
And
for them.
some yeah, exactly. And sometimes when you fly like over like just sea. So you have to wait a bit to get
Mm.
to like a land place and then to divert if there's an emergency. So actually, it was reported a long time ago that was somebody died cardiac arrest on board, and then nothing you
Wow.
can do.
Yeah, you hear horror stories like that, it puts you right off. But what are some of the places you've traveled to then while working with them?
God knows, too many.
Do you
Well,
see
we've
much of
been
the places like when you land?
depends. So we have this called because we are very short flights. We cover all over Europe and North Africa. Um, if you're like out of base, you operate out of base, you get to stay in that country for let's say a week. And then if you don't operate out of base, you just go and come back.
Right.
You only stay in the aircraft. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But if they send you out to base, you get to have time sometimes, like to explore the country where you're out of base. Like for example, I went to Bordeaux, which is in France,
Nice
for a couple
place.
of days. Yeah, it's like very fairy tale like. It's quite nice in there. Expensive but nice.
Did you drink any Bordeaux wine?
No, because I was still in duty.
You can't fly and drive, right? Wait, drink and fly? What am I saying? So
Well,
I'll tell you somewhere you and I both flew to once upon a time, around this time last year, Philippines. So I suppose the idea of me inviting you on here really was so that around the same time is that me and
yeah.
you could sort of go into that trip and
How
I
time
just want to kind of tell
flies.
people like what a sick experience we had there. So how would you sum up the trip? How was it for you?
It's like because for me, I haven't been to Philippines in 10 years to see my family. I came here when I was very little, so I am still confused. I don't know if I have a very English, upbringing or Filipino upbringing. But when I went to Philippines, I'm shocked. I thought I know my own culture, but like I have a lot of English influence in me. So, well, I could tell you, like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Expected, but
It
still
wasn't what
shocked.
you thought it would be when you went back.
Exactly. It wasn't what I thought it'd be. Like, very shocked. Matter of fact, when we went there, I was hiding, and you know this. I was
Yeah,
like, I wanted to
can
be left
confirm that.
alone for a bit, but I couldn't. Like,
Yeah, because
yeah,
I mean, tell people what it was like. Like when we went there, because obviously for you it had been 10 years and your family hadn't seen you for that length of time, even though you grew up there. And for
exactly.
me, they didn't know who I was. I was just some random white guy invading their territory. And
So first,
yeah,
before
you
we
say it.
go to there, because we planned this as a group,
Yeah,
and it never came into like it never passed the group chat, and people because of the pandemic, a lot of things changes. People plans and they have more things to focus on. Whilst you didn't have any plans but to come with me to Philippines.
yeah. I was like, there's no way I'm missing this.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I invited you guys all like in the group chat. A lot of people said yes, but didn't commit to it. But it was a fun experience. Um,
It's a
yeah,
scary thing.
everybody thought you were my husband, fiance, boyfriend. Like it's not in their mind that you're just my friend.
Mm.
Like why were you bringing a guy home? Like in my head is like, why not? It's a guy. But anyway, my family loved you, didn't they?
Yeah, they were very, very nice to me. Yeah,
They're
like
very
I think there's a difference between culture there and here, where here it's like pretty normal that guys and girls are just mates. Whereas there it's like it seems to me at least that
different
you're
level.
kind of looking for a partner to make a family.
That's why I said from the very beginning. I don't know if I have a British um influence or Filipino, because sometimes I get confused. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Like I noticed when you were there. So just to give listeners a bit of context, like so your family, like they're a tribe called the Taboli tribe, right? And it's
Yes.
very
Proud.
yeah, compared to here, it's still very sort of like probably the UK was like a while ago, right? Like if you want to eat
Sure.
food, you go out and catch the food and eat the food. Like if you want to eat a fruit, you'd climb up the tree and get fruit, as I saw you do when we were there. And I saw you revert to sort of how you were there. Like you started doing stuff like climbing up these massive trees. And I've only met like Western Heather, like I've not seen you do this stuff. So I was seeing you just like scaling these trees and stuff. I'm like, wow, okay, this is a side
Do you
of
know
her I
what's the
didn't know.
funny bit as well? That tree just reminded me now.
Yeah,
I got bitten 9 times I got stung by a bee.
yeah, that was
Fall
quite
down.
funny.
I fell. I fall. Um, one experience.
Yeah. So what else about
Yeah.
that trip was it that like because that meant a lot to you at the time. I remember you saying, because it had been 10 whole years and your family had a lot of expectations when you came back. What was it like seeing them again?
I mean, when I went home to everybody has a plan for me. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like, Heather, you need to sleep at my house. Heather, you need to stay at my house. Heather, you need to stay at my house. I think everybody in my family wants me to sleep in their house. And then they want to serve me because they haven't seen me in so long, which is pretty normal. I get it. But like in the Western side of me, like I've got my own house. I don't need that. But like, so yeah, when I went home, everybody has that expectation of me to do something with them. And then to be fair, we did everything with them. Like
Yeah.
everywhere we go, every time we eat. We didn't have privacy. Like I didn't have that much. I was like always constantly in the face of people. And then I thought I know my own culture, but like I was hiding. I was like, I want to hide from people. Do you remember when we went there? Like everywhere we go, there's always a festival or a gathering.
Mm.
And then we're always in the middle of it if we're in it, if we went.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like
made me do your
Tivoli
teacher
dance.
made me do a Tivoli dance. And I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I thought I was just watching. I didn't realize I was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, like it's all from a good place, isn't it? I think you're just not used to experiencing it as an outsider to that culture. But when you are an outsider, with me being there as well, I must have looked like an alien or something compared to everyone else there. Because everyone noticed me because I look different to everyone, and then like, oh, anti jingle, which is you, and
That's my nickname, yes.
yeah,
I mean, I have a
and
lot of nickname when I was there.
yeah, we got a lot of attention, and it's because they're so welcoming and so like willing to just give us stuff and show us things, and
But
yeah,
remember when you're just walking on the streets, everybody's has eyes on you, saying, brother, you want to come for a drinks, coffee, food? Like they're trying to offer it a lot. We
yeah,
just we're just not used to that. Do you know when we first came into the airport of the Manila, when we arrived in Manila, everybody is so nice to us. The security, the cleaning people, the domestic helpers, they were so nice. Mind you, we questioned that. It's like, why are they so nice to us?
yeah. We were like,
Remember?
oh god, like
Um,
sus, like this is something's up. Not used to
like,
this.
are they trying to scam us? Like everywhere we went was everybody's like, sir, ma'am. Like they were so
Mm.
there to help us ready whenever. And when we went to supermarket, I wanted to do my own shopping. Then some people was like, no, 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 we do that to you, mom. We do this. It was fun. I was like, why? I can do my own shopping.
Yeah, they won't
So
let you do anything. They want to help with everything, right? But
yeah,
what do
they
you
want
think?
to do everything for you. Like, let us help
Yeah,
you. Let me do this for you. Do you need anything? You can cook. Let me cook for you. I mean, that's what my family did anyway. Like, they wouldn't let me do anything, but like arguing with me is like arguing with a wall. I wouldn't listen.
I can confirm that.
That's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think the reason behind all that is oh, what do you think the reason is behind all that actually? Like, why do you think people are so much more friendly in the Philippines, or compared to the UK at least? Like here, it's like no one wants to talk to you. No one wants to give you any time of day unless it benefits them. Like, what is it about the Philippines that makes people want to like help you?
It's to be fair, it's part of our culture. Even as I am now, despite growing up half of my life in the UK, I'm still like I still like to help people. Does that make sense? And because in Philippines we're very religious, we try to give as much as we can. We're trying to be very nice, as you can see. Like they're very welcoming. We this is I do you remember me saying this to you before? Like Glenn, we have nothing to offer you but ourselves before we went to Philippines. Do not expect luxury because we haven't got like money wise to offer you. But if you come to our place, we'll offer you our house, our food, our clothes, even. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just all cultural thing, I think.
Do you
And
think religion's a big part of that?
I think so. I think so because Philippines is one of the religious country. I mean, I'd say yes, religious, but I
That's
could
a big
not
part of
really
the culture
say
there, isn't it?
it
Like,
is. Sorry.
yeah, I heard uh, in the West, like a lot of it's quite popular now to be like agnostic, atheist, whatever, godless, some would say. And I was having this conversation with someone earlier,
Yeah.
that kind of lack of belief in something bigger than you gives you a sense of sort of self-importance, and like you don't owe anyone anything. Whereas when the whole culture is built around um like religion and sort of looking after the people around you, that you notice that. I certainly noticed that when I went to the Philippines.
Yes. Do you know as well when we were there, people are like singing to us, like, do you remember?
Yeah, yeah, of
Like,
course.
yeah, constantly. And then they were like praying with us. I myself when I was here, I'm as you can tell, like no, you see this firsthand. I'm not the most religious person. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
have my beliefs, but I do not try to like force it on people. Whilst when we were in Philippines, they were like praying constantly, like singing to us, showing us what you know. We had nothing but so much to offer. Ugh,
Yeah. No, that's good.
sounds so
Like,
cool.
yeah, no, that's true. But I guess in a way that is what they can offer. It's like that they just it's like, well, we don't have anything to give you, so we're just going to be like so nice. It's like that's so refreshing to me, that's so refreshing. Um, you know, compared to being in the UK. Um, yeah, it's just totally different over there. Tell me about the scenery. Tell me about like what it's actually like being there. Places like Lake Holon.
Oh yes.
So different
It's
to here.
actually my first time going there to the Lake Holon.
Oh, really?
It's
Right. Okay.
yeah. Lake Holon also known as like the crown jewels of the South.
Yeah, that's right.
Ooh, it's quite fancy. So basically, my place, which is Taboli, it's not how it used to be because last time I was there, it wasn't as like it's not as how it was when we went there. It's not as nice and clean when we were there
Yeah.
because
It's more
when I
developed
was
now, isn't it?
it's more developed, yeah. Um yeah, thanks to the mayor. Shout out to Mayor Dibu Tuan. He's the mayor who made things happen in Taboli, which is why it's more recognizable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Before Taboli is nothing. Like it's just the tribe people and that's it.
Well,
So
yeah, go on.
yeah, I'm really new to Lake Holland as much as you are.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
So Lake Holon, it's a massive deep lake. No one even knows how deep it is, and it's in
no
the
one.
crater of a volcano. Right? It's surrounded by I think 13 mountains, and it's probably I would say the most amazing natural place I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, if you ever get a chance to go there, take it because it's
Right.
amazing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Talk to me about politics there, because here I feel like politics is very divisive, and it's like you're either on this side or that side, and it's like this constant battle of words with anyone who
Yeah.
disagrees with you. But in the Philippines, it was like politics and voting for someone you believe in. It was like a big sort of community event. It was like people driving around in cars with massive speakers being like playing like the
Yeah.
theme tune for their
Yeah.
candidate and stuff. It was amazing. It was like a cultural like thing that they could get behind.
Yeah, politics in Philippines is always fun because
Yeah.
as you can tell, one of my um uncle, which is Papang Falin, Chancellor Falin Kuta, he when I was in Philippines, he was one of my guardian. He was raising me when I was in Philippines. Yeah, it's a bit mental. It's very different from here. Well, from an outsider view, let's say I'm not in it because I don't know what's going on in it. But like from like experience when I was little, when I was there, when he was still just a small politician. I used to remember money is a big thing in Philippines when it comes to politics. So you buy your voters, or you yeah, most of the time you buy your voters. That is the main thing in Philippines. I'm not even kidding you. Money is a big thing when you're a politician. There are some people who would like, go beyond that.
What
But
do you
most
mean by that? When you say that, how does the money buy the voters? Do you mean like putting money into certain communities and stuff and being like, okay, we're going to invest this much into this, so vote for me?
No, not really. So I'll just use myself as an example. I'm not gonna name politician.
Okay.
Like we don't do dissing in here. So basically, if I run for, let's say, councillor, so I'd have my supporters. We'd go to 25 barangay, which is 25 villages or towns in Philippines. And then we will show off, we will talk to people individually, we will meet them hand to hand, and we will try to give them money. Does that make sense?
So
I mean, like, I've got nothing much to offer, but
right.
here,
Okay,
like
interesting.
here, it is pretty fun. Like, as you can see, like, if I'm a voters and I don't do anything of that, I'd get rich during elections. I'd be a
Right.
1 day millionaire.
Interesting.
So last minute thing is a real, like, so basically what a last minute thing is, like, you will give money around. It doesn't have to be a lot. Sometimes it's only 20 pesos or 50 pesos or 100 pesos. To them, that's a lot.
Makes a difference. Yeah, you know what? That's business move. Business moves. You know what? I'm not going to pretend.
Mindset.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what? I respect the hustle. I'm not going to pretend like the politics is any less corrupt over here. It's just a lot. I think they're more subtle about it maybe here. But
Maybe.
one thing we've got to bear in mind as well is that, you know, how they're just catching up to us in terms of that sort of society, and that kind of you know, that sort of don't know how to describe it really, but put it this way: your brother, when I was there, was telling me how a sword I was using, or cutlass or sword, it looked kind of like a cutlass, that I was using to cut down bamboo. He says, yeah, my granddad used that to kill everyone in this village, to take this village. And it's like, okay, so politics has moved on a lot since then, you know, and that's within that last two generations.
There is what I'm gonna be just letting you know. I want to clarify this to my Tiboli folks. Like, first things first, I don't know all the Tiboli terms.
You've been away for a while. Sword. I think that's okay.
Yeah. The sword, which you mentioned, is a part of our traditional clothing. It has like bling to it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just like this one, just like the necklace, it's part of, like, back in the olden days. It's more tradition. So that is a shock to me. Even I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
What, until I just told you then?
I didn't know it when they told me when we were in Philippines.
Like,
when we were listening to the stories, but I didn't know that. Like,
yeah.
Well,
yeah, I was kind of scared to hold it after that.
I was like, yeah, I'm a proper warrior, like, from the bloodline of warrior.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah. So apparently they said, like, Tiboli tribes used to be, like, always up in the mountain. So they were like, we don't like you here. So that's why they came down and kill all the rest of the other people, and we take over the village. Jesus.
Yeah, those mountains, you know, we went for me, your brother, and I think it was your brother's friend. We all went up in the mountains and to your mum's farm. When I say farm, I don't mean farm by like how in Wales we have farms. I mean, like, it's a mountain with a jungle and monkeys swinging from the trees and stuff. And like,
okay, Glen, can you say this to people, that we actually have mountains? It's not just one as well. We have an actual mountain.
Yeah, there's mountains. There is mountains. I can confirm that you have mountains. Yeah.
No, I mean like our family mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If your mum owns that farm, like that whole thing, yes, that I would call
It's
that a
not my
mountain.
mom, it's
100%.
the whole brothers and siblings, like the whole
Okay.
Kuta
Oh, they all own
family.
it. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
get you. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's
That was
funny, we
awesome.
had a situation on the aircraft. I said like, yeah, we have a mountain. They said, you have a mountain? Yeah. In Philippines, they said, really? The thing is, me telling about it to people, what we
Yeah.
experienced whilst we were in Philippines is so different.
Of
It's
course.
like it sounds like an exaggeration when we talked about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's
I
not.
do invite you guys to come and see Tivoli. Yeah, well.
Awesome. Yeah, before we go, we don't have much time for these. I'm trying to keep these as like 30-minute episodes, short and sweet, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I just wanted to ask you about anime before you go. Why do you like anime? What's the deal? You bang on about anime to me all the time. What's the big deal?
That's the most random thing ever.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You bring it up to me like mid conversation, like all the time. Why do you like it?
Well, to be fair, I always grew up with like watching cartoons, and even now I still watch them.
So
I
you're
just
willing to admit it's a cartoon then?
No, because when I was watching cartoons, I went to anime. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
right.
I,
Which are
I just
different.
like the art. Um, it's not for kids. Anime is not for kids.
No, that's true. That is
Cartoon,
true.
well, cartoon, not all, like, depends. Actually, depends. The difference is the art style. Does that?
Yeah, of course.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not more.
having watched Attack on Titan, I can confirm it's definitely not intended for children. Um,
Yeah,
and some of the themes and some of the like the art, like you're saying, yeah, it's amazing. Some of the art in anime, like these Ghibli films and some anime series, it's like every scene's like it's like a handcrafted painting, isn't it?
yeah. Believe this or not, Glenn, I used to draw.
I see you respect the art. So,
Yes, I
but
do.
for anyone listening, if you had to recommend like a couple of animes for someone to get into it and maybe become as passionate about anime as you are, what animes would you recommend them to start with?
So no, actually, if you're new to anime world, because now a lot of people are like watching the long anime ones such as Bleach, One Piece, Naruto,
Yeah.
or Dragon Balls, something like that. It's too long, which scares a lot of people to watch. But if you like short animes, I'd recommend, if it's not Attack on Titan, Code Geass or Aka Mega Kill.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, give those a watch, guys. And final question, does Pokemon count as an anime? And if so, am I
I
allowed in
was
the anime club?
expecting you to say that. I was waiting for you to say that. I was actually waiting for you to say that because I know this for a fact. Glenn is obsessed with Pokemon.
Not sure.
Well, not obsessed, but most of the time he only talks about Pokemon.
Most of the time, come on, it's not most of the time. It's like, maybe
Actually, that's the only
30%.
anime I think you only watch, which is Pokemon.
Oh, I watched Attack on Titan, and you know what it is though. Even with Pokemon, like I always appreciated like how good it looks and like the messages behind it, and the same with like adult animes. I think the themes they go with are so unique and there's so much heart to the story compared to the kind of shallow Hollywood productions we get over here. That they go at it with a different they have a different way of looking at things in
Yeah,
the Eastern culture to Western culture.
yeah, of course. So yeah, it's always gonna be different. There's always gonna be something different. That's why I like anime. It's very unpredictable. Like
Yeah.
me. I'm
I'd
joking.
say that's accurate. Yeah, just one more. Do you think the Gremlins, aka our friend group, do you think they're a good influence or a bad influence?
I don't know if they're the influence or me.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you.
I'm joking. Hi, Grams. Shout out to my girl Lisa.
Yeah.
Precious.
Shout
Hi,
out to the
Tim.
Gremlins.
Shout
All
out to
right.
the Grams. Hi, Ames.
All
Hi,
right. That's all
Caden.
we've got time for today, Hethskie. Yeah. Thanks for
All
coming on.
right.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Adios.